So today we're having a look at our Japanese maples or acers, and we're looking at how to overwinter our acers during the winter. So Japanese maples in the ground are usually fully hardy and don't require much attention, but if we're in pots such as this Japanese maple, they need a bit more attention. So Japanese maples are small, deciduous trees, best known for their elegant looks and stunning autumn foliage. They're generally slow growing and come weeping, upright and spreading. They like it out of strong winds with some light shade, natural to acidic soil, but most of all free draining. So if you've just purchased a small acer, then keep it in the same pot during winter, then pot it up in the spring. Pot them up in just a slightly bigger pot and just move them pot size to pot size. This one has been out in the winter and you can see all the dead wood, so we can try and receive this, try and give it a good start. These pots, so we're due a bit of a cold spell, we're due some snow in the south coast, which is quite rare, so we're just having a little look at our acers so we can prepare them for overwintering. We can see from the two acers that we've got, they're in different variations of dropping their leaves. This one has completely dropped all their leaves, and this one is a bit later. Still so, if you've got your acers in a container, then you can protect them a little bit by giving them a mulch on top. Put some mulch over the top, some old compost or some bark, and that'll protect the top of the fibrous roots on the top. Give it some protection on the top. If you've got the small seedlings of acers, then maybe just put them in the garage, just keep them in there until the cold passes, and then bring them back out. So acers prefer natural water, so it's best to keep them outside, but if you are experiencing really extreme snow, then just put them under cover in the garage. Just make sure they've had a nice drink beforehand and keep them well hydrated. Bring them back out again as soon as the temperatures increase again, and that'll be great. Just look at the lovely leaves. It's like a little hand shape with veins going through the leaves. How lovely is that? So I'm going to get some mulch, and we're going to give these a mulch. Let's go and get some. So we've got all this moss on here. I'm just going to remove this. And I'm just going to remove any unwanted weeds, rubbish. There we go. And then we're going to give it a top dress. So we're using compost. This is homemade compost. It's a neutral compost. It's just made out of leaves and rabbit droppings and just everything that's waste. And I'm just going to give it a mulch of about 2 inches just around the pot. Now that's going to protect all those roots on top. It's going to keep the weeds, depress the weeds, and also keep that moisture in. And there we go. That's our pot top dress. We're going to do the same with the pot next door. So when choosing a pot for your acer, if you use a ceramic pot, then there's a good chance of it being freezing and it could freeze the roots. So we need a pot that's good for drainage but may not necessarily freeze during a cold spell. So I'm just going to remove just some of this old moss, some of the weeds. We can see what we're left with. We can see the roots are quite high on the top here, so we want to protect those. So we're going to give this a mulch. This is a B&Q one. It just says something green. So I'm going to do the same with this one. Give it a mulch, a couple of inches, just covering up those roots, just keeping it away from the base. And that's going to do it so much good. Going to protect those roots, suppress all those weeds. And it looks good too. It looks so much nicer than having weeds around the outside. So the next step for these is I'm going to move them beside the house, just so they keep a bit of warmth, just from the wall of the house, and that's it. If these were planted in the ground, you could add a mulch around the outside. There's not much else really needed to do with those ones outside, but in a container, just going to put them just slightly by the house. I'm just going to have a look at some of these branches. There's a couple that are damaged. I'm just going to remove a couple of the damaged branches. This branch here is snapped here. I'm just going to remove that one. Well, that one's not good, but we can already see the buds on the tree, so we're looking good. So although the tree has lost all its leaves, we can see little buds already forming, so that's a really good sign. Little buds. This one here is broken, so I'm just going to pull that off, and even that had little buds on. So I'm just making sure there's no more broken branches, but I think we're looking good. So these are going to go next to the house, and this one can continue to lose the rest of its leaves. Bit of a broken branch there. There we go. So that is our acers all ready for overwintering. So when adding our pots next to our house, we've got to ensure the good drainage. Maybe just keep them off the ground, put them on some bricks or some wood or even some plant stands, just to let the drainage go through the pots. We know this one's got good drainage, it's got holes all the way around, which is an ideal pot. So just to make sure it allows drainage We don't want it sitting in soaking water. But there we go. So let me know in the comments, have you got an Acer? Is yours in a container or is it in the ground? Let me know in the comments. So I really do like the Japanese maples, the Acers, and I'm really looking forward to watching the colours change. So if you're interested in how to overwinter plants, then click on this link here. You can find out further videos that you may find interested.